It's too relaxing. I'm like going in the other room. I'm cooking food. I cooked. Lovely Christy came over. I'm like, let me make you something. Because it's not like you have to sit there and grind. It's the oddest feeling, quite frankly.
Yeah.
This is the National Football League. We start Sundays with our butts on the edge of whatever seat we occupy. And then the Niner game comes on. And I'm like, they're going to win by 20, win by 18. Maybe they'll win by 22 this week. It's a wild feeling, man.
It's a great feeling. Yep. And I'm going to comp it to the Warriors the first year of KD, 2016, 2017. I'm just looking at the game log. They lost the opener to San Antonio. Wow. Then they were 11-2. They were 20-3. They were 29-5. They were 38-6. That was a year where the result was usually not in question. A lot of those games they lost, they were scheduled losses, second half of back-to-backs, end of road trips, and then you were kind of just waiting for the playoffs. Could they win it with Kevin Durant? And well, we all know that they did. They went 67-15, which is the NFL equivalent of going 15-2 or 16-1. This feels like that kind of a vibe where the Niners, if they can just be healthy in January, they're going to be very difficult. And you can match up whatever Niner you want to be the chef. And, who's the KD, who's the Draymond. Bottom line, this 49er team has got 8 to 11 legitimate best at their position or close to it superstars, and that laminated play sheet. They're a fun watch because
totally.
I like watching good, talented teams, but the one piece that's missing from the viewing experience is that,
right.
And maybe it comes Sunday night.
Maybe.
Right?
I'm sure it will.
There's drama coming.
I think there'll be some adversity, and yes, if it's not Sunday, it'll be at some point after that. Like, nobody just rolls through the NFL season without any issues.
But they went 16-1, by the way, in the postseason. The KDs, they won their first 15, you remember? And then they lost at Cleveland. They got motorboated. 16-1 in the postseason. 83-16 over the course of 99. Night.
Yep.
KD got a chip. And
when it ended, like, if we're all honest with ourselves for a second, when it ended, you had sort of that, like, I'm going to sit back on the couch and light a cigar. You're not running circles around the block because it didn't surprise you. It didn't worry you. And by the way, don't mistake me. I'm not asking for that.
No, right.
I don't want my feet on the ground. Keep them up. Keep them up. Keep them up.
Nice.
Keep them up all over the ottoman. That's fine. I love it. But it's a very, very odd feeling to watch NFL games and feel this way. And it's getting almost laughable. One incompletion? What are we talking about? One incompletion. One. How many interceptions this year? None.
Right.
How many turnovers this year? One. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care who you're playing. This is so difficult. Look at Mahomes last night. If he doesn't get a questionable holding call, he might lose that game with his third interception. He statistically got outplayed by Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
There is weird stuff that goes on every week in the NFL. And these guys walk out and they're bummed. This is the funniest quote I've ever heard. Okay? This is Purdy after the game.
I mean, honestly, I'm still mad about the one I missed to Christian. He broke out. He was open. I should have hit him. And then we would have been in field goal range. So, I mean, that is something that I'm going to have to learn from and wish I could have had back. But, everyone did their job today, and they helped me out. And O-line did a great job. So, it's a well just orchestrated offensive day.
What are we watching?
He laid it awake last night, Mark. He couldn't sleep.
We have a press conference. It's like, Brock, can we talk about the incompletion? And Brock just shakes his head. Oh, yeah. I didn't even know what the hell I was doing on that play. I can't believe that I missed one time.
Sure.
In the what is this? This is different. Listen, and maybe it's not different. You do hearken back to the 80s and early 90s of 49er football where you just swaggered to the couch or if you had a ticket to the game.
Yeah.
And you're like, who are we eating this week? And it usually would go that way. But I haven't. I mean, KD's Warriors, that's a good comp.
Yeah.
Outside of that, like, this is not normal in sports. And you will not find me diminish from any angle here. You know what I mean? Brock has now done this. There's a game without Ayuk. Quite frankly, yesterday was pretty much without Debo. He was a decoy yesterday.
Sure.
They never even targeted him in the pass game.
They could have if they needed to, but they didn't have to.
I mean, George Kittle is now he's just like all the other tight ends in the league, where it's like,
he's a blocker.
You have a good game here or there, but then other games you're going to have 3 catches for 27 yards, and you'll move on with your life. Like, this is who they are. And one individual being hurt now, Christian, that might be a set aside, different story there, because he right now is the best player in the NFL. But outside of that, like, I don't know. I don't know what the comp is. This is not normal.
No.
I don't care who the opponent is.
It's clinical. And, you could look at the Patriots when they went 17-0 in the regular season, and the Niners still have a chance to run that table. I mean, it's a tall order to go out there and try to win every single game in a regular season. I guess the Patriots went 16-0 in the regular year. There's only 16 games at the time, but you start looking at the way they played yesterday. Yesterday was a great offensive game. You had your quarterback only get sacked once, and he threw one, not interception, one incompletion. And that includes balls that could have been dropped. Christian McCaffrey had 2 or 3 that were absolutely threaded, very difficult catches. You had Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah,
he caught one by the back of the football,
yes.
That first deep one.
Great game for him.
2 guys on him. He catches the back of the football. There was the back shoulder down the right side it was a great throw. It was a back shoulder intentionally, but he comes back and he makes that catch. Think about how many times balls are just dropped. And yeah, it's football. You're going to have guys drop the football. There were no drops yesterday. The only incompletion was on 3rd and 24 from the 46, and Purdy was under heavy pressure, and he just underthrew him, and it wouldn't have been a first down. He might have picked up 10 or 11. It would have been 4th and long, but he's lamenting because it would have meant Jake Moody got a chance to do something that he didn't get to do yesterday.
I tell you what, this is one of the, and we're way early on this because it's still 6 days away, but this is the matchup we need. This is the matchup we all need. And we'll get to it later in the week, but I'm going to declare this weekend kind of the game we've all been waiting for. Because everybody who, quote unquote, needs to see more, and whether you're talking about Brock or the 49ers, whatever the hell you're talking about, if you need to see more, if it happens this weekend, deuces. Ball game over. You don't need to see anymore.
But the sample.
Yeah, exactly. It'll have been almost a full calendar year since they've lost a regular season football game or lost a game where their quarterback played. All of that stuff, right? But I don't specifically mean that because the Cowboys are good. I specifically mean it because they are the number 1 ball hawk team in the NFL. They lead the NFL in turnovers. They are +9. Okay? They have 10 total turnovers so far this year. They have only turned the ball over 1 time on their end. I think Dak has 1 interception. But this Dallas defense, they are ball hawks. They have had 2 games this week where if you have their defense, you won your fantasy game because of them. Yesterday was one of them. Obviously, there was the opener against the New York Giants. So their defense goes to get the ball. If Brock and the 49ers can conduct this game Sunday night without turning the ball over yet again, well, then I think you're starting to talk about an offense that is going to be, I don't know, near impossible to stop. Can you slow it down? I'm sure in ways you can. Will the Niners finally not get to 30 this weekend? Maybe. We'll see. Might be a different style. Bottom line, if the Niners take care of the ball like this all year long, they're going to win. They're going to win it. It's something that Kyle Shanahan has preached his whole career, and that's turning the ball over. It makes his blood boil. It's why Jimmy's not on the team anymore. If they do this with the ball all year long, they're going to win almost all the games, if not all of them.
Right, and it's staying healthy and possessing the football. Outside of that, I don't know how you stop this team because the offensive line is certainly good enough, and the way Kyle runs his offense, and I was writing down all the personnel groupings, and I know you love when I do that.
Oh.
You had George Kittle play almost every snap, and you only had I don't think you had a snap where you don't have your tight end, and a lot of the time you have Juszczyk in there, and you had a couple of tight ends when you needed it. They only faced 5 third downs, Mark. Think about that. The entire game,
so wild.
One of the times you didn't convert on third, he went for it on fourth, and that was George Kittle's only catch.
Yep.
On the fourth down, Kittle got the grab, and that just shows you the confidence that Kyle has in Brock Purdy. It was 4th and 4 from the 40-yard line. Kind of an automatic go. You're too close to punt, and that'd be a long field goal, be a 57-yarder. So you go for it, and you let your quarterback go ahead and throw it, and Kittle's just wide open on that little out route. Boom, move the chains. You didn't face third down because you were so efficient on first and second all day.
Do you know what I think is the most beautiful thing about 49er football so far this year? And it's sort of it's a product of the play that you just pointed out. The most beautiful thing for me is how every single person on that field, starting with Kyle Shanahan, have the absolute utmost confidence in one another. Do you watch the Chargers play football?
Oh, man.
It is the most bananas experience I've ever seen in the NFL. They're 2-2 in spite of themselves. Their head coach on a weekly basis grabs a lead, finds a way to not put the other team away, and then might as well walk up to every defensive player on his sideline and go, I don't believe in you. I don't believe in you. I do not believe in you. And oh, by the way, I don't believe in you over here. And you don't even play, but if you played, I don't believe in you either. That's what he's essentially doing every time he goes for it on 4th and 1 in his own territory, because he knows his defense is, or at least thinks, they're not going to stop anyone. And then they make a pick at the goal line and still win the game. He has got maybe one of the most talented quarterbacks in football, yet they are 2 plays away from being 0-4. They are this close to being 0-4. It's incredible. Now, compare that to the 49ers. Here's Kyle Shanahan. Yeah, we're going for it in the first half on 4th and 4. Because if Brock does have a bad throw, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure he won't, but if he does, the defense has got our backs. The utmost confidence in one another at all angles. Brock is allowing receivers to make plays. Shanahan's play calling shows the utmost confidence in Brock. The defense and the field position game, it's just a bunch of people who all believe in one another at the highest of levels. And by the way, their confidence is being rewarded. It's being rewarded by finishing with 30 to 35 points every time versus 12 to 20 points on the other side.
3 teams in the NFL have 1 turnover. Dallas is one of them. So in terms of turnovers committed, I think Green Bay is the other. So you're in a pretty tight situation in terms of, the company which you keep, and the 49ers with Christian McCaffrey. You can't help but think about what could be if he's able to stay healthy, because he is such a weapon. And just watching the game back earlier today, he's sidestepping guys, he's hurdling guys, he's running over guys, he's able to catch it and run it with equal skill and aplomb. He is, the true difference maker in this offense, because you can have a game where Deebo Samuel's not really needed and George Kittle is not really involved. Brandon Ayuk is an incredible receiver, and Christian McCaffrey makes everyone around him better.
3 football teams who only have 1 turnover this year.
Yeah.
3 football teams. Do you know the other one? Do you have the list right now?
Green Bay, I believe.
No, it's actually Seattle.
Okay.
Green Bay's got 3. All 3 of them are picks. Jordan Love's thrown 3 picks. Geno Smith has thrown 1 pick. Dak Prescott has thrown 1 pick. Brock Purdy has thrown none, but Brock Purdy did fumble once. Those are the 3 teams. And it's not really fair because Seattle's only had 3 games. We'll see them in a few hours here in New York.
Fewest turnovers in a season all time. The number is 8.
8.
The New Orleans Saints back in 2019. So
team that should have gone to the Super Bowl, but the refs took it away from them.
There you go. You had to go there. Such a crybaby.